Brigitte Bardot, the well-known French actress and animal activist, died on December 28, 2025. She was 91 years old when she passed away at her home in Saint-Tropez, France. Her own organization, the Brigitte Bardot Foundation for the Welfare and Protection of Animals, officially announced her death. The foundation expressed great sadness. They said she was an exceptional woman who dedicated her life to making the world better for animals. Bruno Jacquelin, a representative from the foundation, confirmed that she died at La Madrague, her longtime home by the French Sea. Her legacy, they said, will live on through their work. In the months before her death, Brigitte Bardot had been ill. In October 2025, she had a small operation and stayed in the hospital for a short time. Later, in November, she was hospitalized again for a more serious health problem, as French news reported. Just a few days before she died, her foundation shared what became her last message on social media. It was a heartfelt request to find a home for a rescue dog. This final act clearly showed her deep love and care for animals. It highlighted her two important roles: a famous movie legend and a passionate animal rights activist. Brigitte Bardot's life was full of many big changes and even contradictions. She was known around the world as a symbol of freedom and a strong woman. Yet later in her life, she faced serious legal issues and was convicted of crimes. Her journey was complex, showing how a person can be celebrated for breaking rules, but also face criticism for their other beliefs. She truly lived a life of liberation mixed with controversy. How did a young girl from a very traditional family in Paris grow up to become this global star? How did she become the world's most talked about sex symbol, changing culture forever? We must now go back in time to discover how such a unique path began. 2. A young star. Brigitte Anne-Marie Bardot was born in Paris in 1934. She came from a wealthy, very traditional family. Her father was an engineer, and her mother loved art. From a young age, Brigitte showed a gift for dance. Her mother sent her to ballet classes. Brigitte was very good and earned a place at a famous dance school in Paris. For many years, she worked hard, hoping to become a professional ballerina. This strict training taught her discipline and gave her a graceful way of moving. These skills would later make her stand out on screen. However, her life took a different path when she was just 15 years old. On May 8, 1950, Brigitte appeared on the cover of Elle magazine. This was a very important women's magazine in France. Her beautiful young face quickly got the attention of people in fashion and movies. Soon she was on several more Elle covers, becoming a popular model in France. It was through her modeling work that Brigitte met Roger Vadim. He was an ambitious young man, 6 years older than her, who wanted to direct films. Vadim saw Brigitte at an early film audition. He was impressed not just by her beauty, but by her special talent. He believed she could show a new, very free kind of woman on screen. This idea was revolutionary for its time. Brigitte's parents were worried about her relationship with the older Vadim and the movie world, but their romance grew strong. They married in December 1952, after Brigitte turned 18, as her parents had wanted. This marriage would be very important for Brigitte's career and her public image. Her strict upbringing was a big contrast to the uninhibited person she would soon become in public. Vadim saw her unique potential. he decided to create one film made especially for her. This movie would either ruin her career completely or make her a huge global star overnight. In 1956, a movie called And God Created Woman changed everything for Brigitte Bardot. Her husband, Roger Vadim, directed it. He wrote the film especially for her, wanting to show her unique appeal to the world. The story was set in the sunny French town of Saint-Tropez, a place that would soon become famous because of her. Brigitte played a young woman named Juliette. Juliette had a very free spirit and a natural sexuality that deeply shocked many people in that time.
The movie was revolutionary. It showed a woman who was open and true to herself. Brigitte danced barefoot on tables, her movements full of life. She appeared in different scenes, showing her body without shame. This was a new thing in movies then. Her character, Juliette, enjoyed her own desires and happiness without needing men's approval. This was a radical idea in the 1950s, a time when women were expected to be quiet and proper. The film caused an immediate big sensation. In France, many traditional people were very upset. They said it was scandalous and went against their old ways. But young people and thinkers, especially those with new ideas, loved it. They saw it as a breath of fresh air, a sign of changing times. The controversy quickly spread to other countries. In the United States, a group called the National Legion of Decency spoke out against the film. This made even more people curious. Long lines formed outside cinemas, especially in big cities like Los Angeles. Everyone wanted to see what was causing such a big debate. And God Created Woman was more than just a movie that earned a lot of money. It became a huge cultural event. Brigitte Bardot became famous around the world almost overnight. The film came out at a very special moment. The 1950s were coming to an end, and new ideas about how women could live, love, and express themselves were starting to grow.
Brigitte, with her striking blonde hair and bold way of acting, seemed to perfectly show this new spirit. Roger Vadim's dream to make her a global star had come true, but with this sudden and huge fame came many questions. The film had made Brigitte a worldwide star, but it also started a very big discussion about women, freedom, and morals. What would important French thinkers, like the famous philosophers Simone de Beauvoir and even the President of France, Charles de Gaulle, have to say about this new and powerful sex kitten? 4. A famous face. After her movie, Brigitte Bardot's fame grew even bigger. Smart people in France started talking about her. Simone de Beauvoir, a very famous writer and thinker, wrote a long article about Bardot. De Beauvoir called Bardot a locomotive of women's history. She said Bardot was the most free woman in France after the war. For de Beauvoir, Bardot showed that women could be strong and follow their own desires, just like men. She was not just a movie star, she became a symbol for many women. Bardot was now a national symbol for France. Even President Charles de Gaulle spoke about her. He said Bardot was as important for France as its cars, like Renault. This showed how much she meant to the country. Later, her face was chosen to be Marianne. Marianne is the important symbol of the French Republic, like a statue found in many town halls across France. So Bardot's image represented the whole nation. Her influence went beyond movies and national pride. Brigitte Bardot changed fashion, too. She helped make the bikini popular around the world. She also made the Bardot neckline famous. This is a wide neckline that shows both shoulders. People wanted to dress like her. Her style helped make places like Saint-Tropez famous for rich and stylish visitors. But with this huge fame came a dark side. Being a global star created big pressure. Photographers, called paparazzi, followed her everywhere. They invaded her private life. Brigitte Bardot felt like this constant attention was eating her from the inside. She found the life of a celebrity to be a nightmare. She was always in the public eye, and it was too much for her. This immense pressure became unbearable. In 1960, on her 26th birthday, Brigitte Bardot tried a very desperate act. At the height of all this love and fame, she nearly ended her own life. A hard life. Fame brought Brigitte Bardot much sadness. In 1960, on her 26th birthday, she tried to end her life. The constant pressure from being famous was too much for her. News photographers, called paparazzi, followed her everywhere. Fans wanted to know every detail of her life. Brigitte said this intense focus felt like it was eating her from the inside. She felt like celebrity was a bad dream, a nightmare. Despite this very hard time, she continued to work and make films. She showed great strength in her acting. In the 1960s, she gave some of her most remembered performances. In 1963, she starred in Jean-Luc Godard's film, Contempt. Many movie critics said this was her best work, showing a deep and new side of her acting. 2 years later, in 1965, she was in the adventure comedy Viva Maria. In this movie, she acted alongside another respected French star, Jean Moreau. These films showed that Brigitte was a very talented actress, not just a beautiful image. Her personal life was often in the news and brought her pain. After her first marriage to Roger Vadim ended, she married actor Jacques Charrier. With him, she had her only child, a son named Nicolas. But this marriage also ended. Her relationship with her son later became publicly difficult. She married again in 1966 to Günter Sachs, a rich man, but that marriage lasted only 3 years. These many changes in her relationships added to the stress of her public life. The immense pressure of being a global star continued. She was loved by millions, but this love came with a very high price. Brigitte started to question what her career truly meant to her. She often felt overwhelmed and trapped by her own fame. Then, in 1973, she made a very big and surprising choice. She was just about to turn 40 years old. At this time, when she was still at the top of her acting career, she announced she would stop making movies forever. She walked away from everything she had built. Why did Brigitte Bardot choose to leave her famous life and the world of cinema behind? 6. A new life. Brigitte Bardot made a very big decision in 1973. Just before she turned 40 years old, she announced her retirement from acting. She chose to leave the world of movies forever. She called the constant attention and pressure from stardom madness. It was not the life she truly wanted. She felt the intense focus on her had ate at her from the inside. She was never truly prepared for the life of a star. Bardot decided to use her fame for a new and different purpose, helping animals. This was her true passion. For a long time, she had many rescued animals at her home in Saint-Tropez. Now she would make animal welfare her life's work. a mission she believed was far more important than any film she had made. Her activism began in the mid-1970s. In 1977, she traveled to the Arctic to protest against seal hunting. She saw baby seals being hurt, and this experience made her even more determined. The image of the famous actress kneeling in the snow to protect animals touched many people and helped gather public support for the cause. In 1986, Bardot started the Brigitte Bardot Foundation for the Welfare and Protection of Animals. To get money for the foundation, she sold many of her personal and valuable items. She sold her jewelry, old movie clothes, and even signed over ownership of her beloved home, La Madrague. This showed how serious she was about her new goal. Her foundation worked to stop animal testing and hunting. It fought for stronger laws to protect animals. Bardot often wrote letters to world leaders, using her famous name to bring attention to animal causes around the globe. She once said a powerful thing about her new life. "I gave my beauty and my youth to men. Now I am giving my wisdom and experience, the best of me, to animals." She felt this new work had real moral meaning. This new path seemed purely heroic. She was saving animals and making a difference. However, her strong passion for animal rights would soon lead her into much trouble. Her activism would become very controversial, resulting in multiple criminal convictions for her public statements. 7. The dark side. Brigitte Bardot's life took a very difficult turn in her later years. While she continued her important work for animals, her public statements about people became very controversial. She was found guilty by French courts multiple times for what they called inciting racial hatred. This means she said things that caused strong dislike or hate towards certain groups of people. She often spoke against Muslims and immigrants living in France.
Bardot strongly opposed some religious ways of killing animals, like during the Muslim holiday of Eid al-Adha. But her words went further than just animal welfare concerns. They became attacks on entire communities in France, causing much anger and division. Bardot also openly supported a far-right political party called the National Front. This party had strong views against immigration. Her husband, Bernard Dormal, was an advisor to the party's leader. Her political opinions were very clear. She wanted fewer immigrants in France. She made many statements that French courts ruled were against the law, leading to her convictions. Beyond this, Bardot also made controversial comments about the Me Too movement. This movement helped many women speak about bad experiences and harassment from men. But Bardot suggested that some actresses were not telling the full truth. She hinted that they might have encouraged the unwanted attention themselves. She said that she never felt harassed and found some compliments from men charming. These comments surprised and upset many people who had seen her as a symbol of women's liberation and freedom. This created a powerful contradiction in Bardot's life. She showed great compassion and fought tirelessly for animals, saving them from suffering and working for a better world for them. Yet at the same time, she used harsh and often unkind words when speaking about human groups, especially immigrants and religious minorities.
It was hard to understand how the same person could show so much care for animals, but so little for other people. Her journey became a big and complex question. She was once a global icon of liberation, challenging old rules about sexuality. But in her older years, She became a voice for intolerance and division. With a legacy so deeply divided between freedom and prejudice, how will history ultimately remember Brigitte Bardot? 8. Her final story. Brigitte Bardot's death on December 28, 2025, marked the end of a long, complex story. She was 91 and passed away peacefully at La Madrogue, her home in Saint-Tropez, surrounded by her rescued animals. Her foundation announced her passing. Her final social media post about helping a rescue dog showed her deep commitment to animal welfare, a cause that defined half her life. Her death brought many different reactions. French President Emmanuel Macron called her a symbol of French freedom. Far-right leaders like Marine Le Pen praised her as a patriot. The film world remembered her as a star who broke rules about female sexuality. Animal rights groups thanked her for her important work, even while acknowledging her controversial views. Bardot's life was full of contradictions. She was a symbol of liberation, yet she supported reactionary politics. She fought bravely for animals, but made hurtful comments about people.
Her early life challenged norms, but her later years embraced strict, old-fashioned ideas. This central paradox defined her journey. In her final years, she lived quietly at La Madrogue with her husband and many animals. This was a chosen return to a private life, far from fame. She gave her youth to cinema, and then her later years to animal welfare. Brigitte Bardot's legacy is not simple. It makes us think about celebrity, liberation, and personal responsibility. She was a woman who shaped culture and sparked much debate. How do you think history should remember a person who had such a big impact, both good and bad?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.